everybody, welcome to day 2 of our Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. The chat is already going wild. I am so impressed. Hello, we got Sam Peterson, Anthony King, Kurt Fry, Gaurav. Good to see you. If you are just joining us for the first time, make sure you log in, say what's up in chat. I'd love to say hello to you. What's up, Austin? If you are totally new, I'm Kathleen. I'm going to be your host for the Daily Creative Challenge, or what I'm affectionately calling Camp Photoshop this session. At the end of the challenge, you are going to come away with awesome new workflows, new tools in Photoshop, and just kind of a general understanding and comfort with the program. Because if you're new, or if you've ever been new to Photoshop, you know it can be a little overwhelming. But campers, let's do this super easy. What's up, Jordan, Frederick? We got Howard Pinsky. What's up, Howard? Good to see you. So if you want to actually register for this Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge, this is where you're going to want to do it. The link is behance.net/Photoshop or /challenge/Photoshop. I'm sure someone can post that in the chat. But when you do come to this registration page, you will see this big, beautiful blue button, and it will say, hello, Gaurav, hello, Tracy, register for the challenge. And when you do, it will then register you and send you a notification every day to your Creative Cloud app. I'll show you that really quick. So up here in your notifications, you should get one every day that'll let you know what the challenge is and also lead you to the live stream, which this is right here, right now, for a walkthrough of that specific challenge. Good morning, Jason. Good to see you. So like I said, every day you'll receive the challenge. There's a couple different ways to receive it. I'll go into that in a bit more detail. You'll join community chat, which this is kind of a part of that, but also we have an awesome community chat over on Discord that I will show you in a moment. You watch the daily live show, which is happening right now. That's where you can ask questions and you can see my version of the challenge. We don't have any starter files for you. You can use any asset, any image that you want. You can get one off of Adobe stock or use something from your personal collection. But I'll give you an example of how I might work through it. And then finally, you're going to share your work in Discord to get feedback and finally upload it onto Behance in your portfolio. Yes, you can register there at that link. Thank you, Adobe Live. So this is the link for Discord if you want to join us for community chat. bit.ly/PS Discord, capital P, capital S. And then I will show you Discord real quick, just so you know what exactly I'm talking about. So this is our community chat. There's a bunch of different channels over here. There's an announcements channel for the daily challenge where every day Sam is going to be posting the daily challenge. As you can see, today's is embellish text. So we're going to be using the smudge tool, we're going to be using the text tool and an image to create some hand lettering that looks pretty otherworldly. It's very cool. What's up, Dee? How you doing? Good to see ya. Marilyn, hello, hello. So we're going to jump into that in a moment. This is where you're going to be posting your work for feedback. So this is feedback, design feedback over here. B-NATO just posted their work from yesterday. So if you're still working on your projects, you post it here. You can get some feedback. Ask for specific critique if you'd like. Ask about the composition, the values, the tool usage. I'm going to give B-NATO a little emoji right there. And there's also the past challenge feedback. So say you're working on yesterday's challenge or even a challenge that somebody else hosted a couple weeks ago, you can post that here. Also note that over on the right, you can see who's online right now. So you can see in the mentor section, I'm online, Sam Peterson's online. I think Sam's in the chat as well. There's also some Adobe folks over here in the Adobe section, and then all of your other friends. So if you want to ask someone a specific question, you can click on their name, send them a direct message. Alrighty. Oh, Dee says I have a hand lettering account. It's fun. That's awesome, Dee. Is that on Instagram? Feel free to share the handle. And I know that hand lettering can be a little bit daunting if you're not super confident in your drawing skills or your lettering skills, but don't worry, we're not even going to touch on that today. It's going to be a quick and easy way. What's good, Adobe fam? Yes, we're going to be using Luke Choice's awesome workflow for hand lettering. Alrighty, so I'm going to jump into this workflow and then afterwards I'm going to show you how to export it, upload it on Behance, and then send you on your way. All right, so I'm in Photoshop right now and I have my image. Like I said, you can use any image you want, but I highly recommend using something colorful with lots of different in value. So lots of highs, lots of lows. I've got some blues, I've got some reds. So this is gonna lead to some really cool lettering. Our end result is gonna look something like this. So I'm using the colors of the background to create this awesome smudge script, as Luke likes to call it. And I'll show you how I do that right now. So here I am, and over in my layers panel, you'll notice that I already have some text written out. I just used the text tool over here, selected it, click, and you can type, and that will create a new layer. Let's turn that on. Great. So use any typeface that you want, but I'm using something that's pretty thin, pretty simple. You could use something a little more scripty if you'd like. And to actually get this script lettering, we're going to be using something called the smudge tool. So the hot tip over here says softens or smudges colors in an image. You can use this for digital painting, you can use this for photo editing, but we're going to be using it literally to drag the paint in the image, the colored pixels in the image, to create a paint-like effect. Really cool idea for lettering, haven't seen that before? Yeah, everyone check out the Luke Choice link. I think it's over here in the chat. This is his awesome workflow, and I'm kind of shortening it and making it nice and short and sweet. All right, so I'm over here in the smudge tool. And you'll notice up here at the top, it looks similar to the brush tool. So you have the smudge tool chosen, and then you can choose a brush. I chose something that has a lot of nice texture in it because I really want it to look like I actually wrote it with some sort of marker or brush. Hey Rachel, good to see you. Okay, my mode is normal, that's great. I lowered the strength somewhere in the 90s, 95 is good. And then this is one of the most important parts. Make sure sample all layers is turned on. We're going to be working on a new layer, but we want it to be sampling the layers from below it in the layers stack. Ooh, Sam uses the smudge tool for blending and painting. Yes, you do, Sam. I've seen you do that before. Alrighty, so like I said, we're going to be working on a new layer. So I'm going to turn on a new layer just so we have it. I did that down here. New layer. Click that. And then this is where things get a little bit strange. Maybe you've never used this tool before. I'm going to right-click on the text layer. So I'm right-clicking to pull open this larger flyout menu. What's up, Chad? Good to see you. And I'm gonna go here to create work path. When I click that, you'll notice that it selects the outlines of all of my letters. This is why I chose something that was pretty skinny, because I want it to look as much like a straight line and less like an outline. Alrighty, so I have my letters selected. Again, I right-clicked on my text layer and I clicked Create Work Path. If you've never explored this panel down here, you might not have noticed that there's a Path tab. So now we see that we have this Work Paths selected, and if I deselect it, it'll disappear. Click on it again, it reappears. Alrighty. So we have our path. We're gonna make sure that we are on our new layer, so I have my new layer selected. And I'm gonna then turn off my text layer. You'll see why in a moment. So now we just have the paths on top of this starry background, nice and colorful, very cool. I'm gonna go back to my paths. I'm gonna make sure work path is still highlighted so you can still see these outlines. And I'm gonna go down here to stroke path with brush. Remember, we have our smudge tool selected, not the brush tool, smudge tool still selected. Down here to this little icon, it's the open circle, stroke path with brush. When I click it, you'll notice my letters are starting to be brushed out in some sort of smudge script. So I can turn this on and off since it's on its own layer now. I could even do Command T to open up my transform controls. Grab a corner, hold Option, increase the size. But I noticed that since I wrote the text right over this, it smudged the same pixel, so it's kind of hard to read. I have a way to work around this, fear not. I'm gonna go back to my paths, make sure those are selected. And I'm gonna use a tool that isn't often used in Photoshop. I'm gonna use the direct selection tool, the path selection. So this is kind of like Illustrator, how we have the direct selection and the just selection tool. This isn't often used in Photoshop, but it is used when you're using paths. So let's choose the direct selection tool, path selection, and make sure that we're using that so that we can then select our paths. If I were just using the move tool, I can't actually select the paths. You must use this path selection tool. So we're gonna select them, do Command T to transform these, and I'm gonna kind of drag them over to the right, grab a corner, rotate a bit, and this way, when I do the smudge lettering, I'm gonna be getting a lot of this bright blue and a lot of this bright red, kind of the best, most saturated pixels in this image. What workspace am I using? I'm pretty sure I'm just using the Essentials. I have to confirm that first. Yep, just Essentials. But I am on the Paths tab right now, which might be why it looks a little confusing. Alrighty, so we've rotated our letters. They're on the best pixels in my opinion. We are still on our new layer, right there. We're gonna use our stroke path with brush tool, but we're gonna make sure that we're using the smudge brush. And I'm gonna click it, see what happens. All right, it's working through processing. Oh, nice, Chad. So people who are still working through the difference in transform controls, so shift to constrain and shift to not constrain, if you update to the newest Photoshop, you can turn that on and off. Very cool. What's up, Zorro? Good to see ya. All right, so if we go back to our layers, we'll see we can turn this lettering on and off. I'm gonna deselect the path. And since this is its own layer, I can do Command T, rotate it, drag it where I want it, and this is gonna end up being a lot more legible. I just had to double check my lettering. Like, did I spell explore right? I think I did. Alrighty. Very cool. Now I like this, although it's still a little bit hard to read, so I'm gonna make sure my layer 1 is selected, my Explore layer. I'm gonna go down here to Adjustment Layers. I'm gonna choose Levels. I love a good levels adjustment. I don't know what it is about it. And when I'm on my levels layer, I see I have this awesome slider that I can play with. So I'm gonna try and lighten up those letters a bit, but keep them very saturated because I want this image to stay strong, powerful, not get too grayed out. Oh, awesome, Kurt, you just posted your day 1 in Discord, great. All right, so I just did that, but it changed the levels on the entire image, on the background and on the Explore layer, because the way that layers works is the thing on top changes everything below it. One way that you can change this is to create a clipping mask or clipping layer. So I have the levels layer selected. Let me just center this up. And if I hold Option, I'm just tapping Option, you'll notice that my cursor changes when I hover in between the two. So I'm holding Option, and I'm gonna click, and you'll notice that this little arrow appears right here. And that's gonna clip this levels adjustment layer just to the Explore layer. So all of those highlights and saturations that we just added with the levels layer, it's only gonna be attached to the Explore layer. Cool, so this is a lot more readable. Valentine said this is just super cool. Thanks, thank you Luke Choice for this awesome workflow. And Luke in his Create article shows how you would just draw the smudge lettering, like if you had a tablet and you're more confident in your lettering skills. He also shows how you can create paths. And this is a way that you can just use a font and create paths from the font and then create lettering from that. Gorov says Control-Alt-G for a clipping mask. Very nice, that is another way to do it. Okay, last little thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to make this text interact with the background a little bit. because this image has this nice kind of horizon line with these trees, I want to make it look like the text is sitting behind the trees. I could play with changing the blend modes of this text. Like, that's pretty cool, but I don't want it to be transparent at all. I want it to be solid and just sit behind the trees. That's kind of cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these off, select my background layer, and I'm going to use the magic wand tool. So I'm just tapping W to get to that. Or you can go over here, click magic wand. I'm just going to select the background. I noticed that it kind of selected some areas that are not trees, so it goes all the way up here. So I'm then going to go to my lasso tool. You can tap L to get to that. I'm going to choose this selection, which is going to erase my selections when I select it. And I'm just going to kind of roughly draw over the things that I don't want to be selected. Okay, that works well. And I'm going to add back into my selection by selecting this icon. I'm going to add this campfire back in. Okay, so we have our selection done. I'm going to turn my Explore back on. I just did Shift-Command-I to inverse my selection. So this is what I had selected first. Now I want to inverse the selection, Command-Shift-I. And I'm going to go down here and click Add Layer Mask. See this icon right here? When I do that, it's going to mask out the bottom of these letters in accordance with what we selected. So now in practice, it just looks like the Explorer is sitting behind the trees. Okay, I think we're done. This looks like a cool project to add to our Behance project. So I'm going to show you how to export. I'm going to go up to File, Export As. And one note, if you have a huge image that you're working with, the smudge tool is probably going to be pretty slow. So I downsized my image before I even started. It was like 12 inches wide, and now it's like 8 or 10. All right, let's downsize this even further for Behance. Sounds good. We have PNG chosen. I'm going to just change this to JPEG because I just like JPEGs. No real difference. Export all. You're going to choose where you want to upload. I think we can actually turn off Keycaster for now. We're going to rename this to Day 2 DCC. Save that. We're going to get this uploaded onto Behance. I'm going to go to my profile. And if I were still working on this and I wanted to get some feedback, I can always go to Discord, post my work, InDesign feedback. I might just do that now, just in case. We'll go to Day 2, see what you all think about it. Do you think the values are different enough to keep the words legible? Question mark. It's always great to ask for specific feedback so people know really what you're looking for help with. Alrighty, back to Behance. We're going to edit our project, hover over the cog icon. Note that we're not making a new project for every day. We're just using the same project for the entire challenge. Your Photoshop is still loading from the smudge tool 6 minutes ago. Uh-oh. Sometimes I'll hit escape and just cancel the tool that I was using and maybe downsize from there. All right, so we have our cover image, the photo from yesterday, which was retouching and adding filters. Now we can do a little bit of text here. Day 2. Glittering with the smudge tool. And I can insert my media just by clicking this upload arrow. Choose Day 2, find our files, upload it here. Okay, looks good. One thing we do want to make sure is that in our settings and in discoverability, we have the keyword PS Daily Challenge chosen. That's our hashtag. That's how you're going to get found on Behance when people are searching for these daily creative challenge projects. Gonna save that. Let's go to my profile and check out the new update. Oh, you turned scattering on mine, which really adds to that. Yeah, the timing for sure. Cool, there it is. So we've got some nice blues, some nice reds. Very cool. John says, hi all, hope you're having a great day. John, I hope you're having a great day. Awesome. Okay, so we've updated our projects, and since I have that keyword, when we search Behance, we should be able to find my project. Let's see, I think it's down here, one of the original ones. Yes, there I am. So I searched Behance for the keyword PS Daily Challenge, and when I do that, I can find mine, and I can find all of the other challenges that have been made after me. Amazing. So I kind of wanted to look at some of your challenge submissions from yesterday, because that was day 1, and I'm instantly drawn to the dog, of course. Let's try this one by Jose. This one has a cool cover image. Very nice. And as you are making your projects, they will populate here. Let's try this one too. All right, let's look through some of these. So this is by RJ. Day 1 portrait retouch. I love that you chose an animal to retouch, because sometimes they need their glamour shots too. So I'm gonna try and see what you did. Let's see, you added a bit maybe of a field or spin blur. I can see the edge right here, maybe a bit of a lens flare, which is slightly realistic because the light is coming in pretty strong from the corner. I do notice kind of a harsh line between the blur and the not blur, and I think if you really wanted to make this to the next level, that line would be a little more blurred. Make the blur line blurrier. Oh, thanks Axel, best camp counselor. Appreciate that. I don't think this little animal needs any retouching because it's clearly perfect, but it looks nice and soft. The edges are soft. Good job, RJ. We got this by Jose. I really love these kind of naturally lit portraits with the technique that we used yesterday. It has this really dreamy effect. This is a good example of the line, the edge of the blur not being totally obvious. Like I don't know where the blur ends and the focal point starts, so nice job. And it really just draws your eye to the subject. I would say that this entire image has values in a similar range. There's nothing super bright. So maybe you would add a little more highlight to the face. Not too much because this is obviously kind of a more matte image. Maybe just a little bit. Flawless pup, 10 out of 10, I agree. Cool, so Joaquin just made the project but hasn't added anything yet. So you got this, Joaquin, I know you can do it. And this is by Animated Adventures. Do a little refresh. Nice job. I don't see any blur on here, but perhaps some retouching or photo editing or color and lighting editing. Awesome. So as a recap, you can register for the challenge. You can then join community chat, which is Discord. I'm in there. Lots of people are in there. Somebody else has a flawless pup in the design feedback. So make sure you're posting your work. If you're still working on it and you have a question, you want to get some feedback, post it here. You can earn creative karma if you do so. Very cool. And then once you have gotten your feedback and you've made all of your tweaks, you can upload it to Behance. And I showed you how to do that. We're going to be using the same projects throughout the entire challenge. Update it, add day 2. Very cool. As for tomorrow's challenge, trying to think of a little sneak peek I can give you. It's going to have to do with fashion, and it's going to have to do with the pen tool, which isn't often used in Photoshop, so we'll see how things go. Yeah, I agree, Sam. I had really good focus on the face. So that's your sneak peek for tomorrow. Make sure you come back. For the rest of Adobe Live today, we have some awesome guests coming on. Kyle Webster is going to be here right after me, working in Photoshop on a very awesome painting. I got a little sneak peek on what he's going to be working on. So drawing and painting with Kyle. Andrea's going to be doing her day 2 of her XD Daily Creative Challenge at 11:30. And then Brent Davidson is going to be coming on to round out the day with design systems in XD. Brent actually works at Adobe, so he'll have some cool inside scoops. Going to be awesome. Cool. So we will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time with day 3. If you haven't registered, you can do so now. And I'll be back tomorrow with another challenge. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.